Literacy is the foundation for every type of learning that we do. We knew that our students weren't reading well. But we did something I don't think a lot of districts do, which is to really see where every one of our students is in terms of their functioning for literacy and their reading ability. And so we tested every student in the district. We did get some students we thought that probably kind of blew the test, because we're talking juniors and seniors in high school as well. But really felt that our first grade through ninth grade Lexile scores were accurate. And what we learned was our students weren't not only not reading well, but 33% of our students were reading on grade level. So we knew we had at that moment, and the board saw it, and the board was right there with us the whole time to see we have a literacy crisis.
And if you look at from the reading standpoint, even with me coming up in our neighborhoods, so to speak, I was one of those kids. So I know how it feels. I know what you have to deal with when you go home. Because if you don't get it at school, when you go home, nobody's there to give it to you. If you're not getting it at school, you're really at a disadvantage. You're at a loss.
And everybody came up with the same thing. We need to work on our reading skills. We need to get our kids to be, literate. This is one of the number one priorities, which still, if you come and visit Dr. Duncan's office, it's still on the wall where we had our brainstorming, and that's the first thing on the list. Of course, that was one of the things that was very key to my heart as far as making sure that students can read and learn well. Because if you can't read, you can't do anything else. And I think that just goes to show that we're supporting reading, which is a vital skill.
We knew that we had to make a change, and so I knew the only way we were going to get there was by doing everything based on data and based on research-based practices. We found that our students were weak in two main areas. One, they did not have the foundational skills in literacy. Phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, phoneme segmentation, those skills were just not there. And then we looked at, we were not teaching them. And so the other thing was vocabulary. They were coming in thousands of words behind other students that were coming in the doors. And so we needed something that would address both of those areas. And so before we could make a decision, because of the financial situation we were in, just a few months in as building principal, I found out that Matthews has been identified as what Missouri called a focus school. Every state has turnaround status, schools that go into what is called turnaround status. It's the lowest performing schools in the state. At the time, Missouri identified the lowest 5% of schools as priority schools, and then the next lowest 10%, those were focus schools, and we were in that identification status. So what that did was we were able to actually use that to work in our advantage. So because of that happening, we were able to really establish a sense of urgency, not only just at Matthews, but that kind of propelled then the district to go further with this. And I want to clarify too, we had a sense of urgency, but we were not frantic. There was urgency there, but we knew we had to be deliberate and calculated in our steps that we took going forward. So we weren't frantic, what are we going to do? We developed a plan, and we stuck with that plan and stayed with that plan. And the plan was then to look at a literacy program. We knew we needed something. So we started basing every single decision on data. Okay, our first focus school meeting, I found out that their timeline was you were in that status for a minimum of 3 years. That was the earliest you could come out, but there was the catch of schools did not come out in that time frame. And so they said expect 5 to 7 years. Well, then we had to go around the table and introduce ourselves, say what building we were at and how long they had been a focus school. So I happened to be the only person in the room that was a first-year principal in this. And there were principals in that room, and I still can't wrap my mind around this, that had been in the program 7 to 9 years. So I started doing the math, and it all, with us it does, and it's always gone back to the students. And my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, I'm thinking of them and doing the math. 7 to 9 years, they'll be in high school or out of school. We don't have 7 to 9 years. My second thought was, we don't have 5 to 7 years. This is now, this has to be done now. And I made just the decision in the room that day and went to my car, we're going to do this in 3 years. Our data told us that we needed a program that was going to be rich in phonological awareness and phonemic awareness. Not just a program that was good in the country and good on research, but one that would fit the needs of our students and our teachers. And so we started looking at things, and then I found out we were a focus school on one day of the week, and by the next morning at 7 a.m. I was talking to a literacy consultant that's now helped us do a lot. What's the data saying that you need? And I told her, and she said, then we need to look at Superkids. What we have been guilty of is we have been teaching students the subject of reading. We have not been teaching children how to read.
We were so stuck in the rut of teaching them the subject of reading. We focused on story elements. We did our read alouds every day, but we never really taught them how to read. So when I looked at this program, the structure of it is so different from what we were so used to. And I like to refer to this program as a phonics program with the subject of reading just intertwined instead of what we were using before, and we were having to supplement everything for phonics. So now when you come into our classroom, everything is text-based. There's text in front of them all the time. It's very different than what we had, and it's been really good.
This sounds like such a simple statement, but we had teachers that did not know how children learn to read, yet they were teaching children how to learn to read. And I cannot, emphasize that enough, that for them to be able to do that, because once that knowledge base grows and the teachers, it's like get out of their way because they're ready to go. And we saw it immediately start making a difference in our data.
So we had a lot of professional development on that, and when we really started digging into that program, and you could see that I followed it perfectly. And everything was text-based, and it was so rich in phonics and vocabulary, and we had just finished studying all of our data, and we knew that that's what we needed. So we could really see that if we truly implement this with fidelity, that we would get to where we wanted to be.
I've just seen such a transformation, not only in the students, but in the staff, and how they're going about not only teaching their reading, starting with Superkids and working up, but in all their classes.
I'm just excited about the whole program. I like it, and we had the notion of making, always trying to be the best district. And so, in trying to be the best district, I thank God for Superkids, because it's allowing us to do that.
Success in the classroom and his confidence changes behavior.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I went from being at the school last year, honestly, probably once a week at least, or I was receiving phone calls. And he wasn't, I think a lot of it, like you said, he wasn't understanding, he wasn't taking it in, it wasn't registering with him, so he was in trouble a lot.
He is one that, I get a little choked up talking about it, not only his ability in the classroom is completely different. This is an engaged student that never wants to miss anything. He's soaking it up. I mean, he's not even thinking about being off task because he's so engaged, but his posture, he is truly a leader in his grade. And he is helping struggling students if he gets there early. He is sitting there in the morning library. He is reading with someone else, helping them.
And walking in the Matthews building and seeing someone dressed up like one of the characters and watching the children's eyes, and they're just completely taken and in love with the characters.
Student engagement has been a huge piece with this because they love it. Everyone's engaged. And our school is so calm and quiet. And that's one of the things people will comment on when they come in, because everyone has this laser-like focus on what we're doing. we're really excited about it. So the engagement piece, we don't have any issues with that anymore. I mean, you can come into any room and see 100% of the kids, even your kids that you have trouble out of, some, just the kids that are less likely to be engaged are. And that has in turn done huge things for our achievement, because what you're putting in front of them, they're excited to do it. They know that they can do it. Anything that's put in front of them, they know is decodable. They can do it.
And it's 100% of the students 100% of the time. It is a learning culture. We have established a learning-centered, learning-focused culture. Before it had been a teaching culture. Now it's a learning. Not have we taught it or not, have they learned it? And everybody, when you come there, when you don't have to be in the building but a few minutes to know, wow, people are learning, and that's what the whole day is about.
And with Zaner-Bloser, with Superkids, it is such an amazing relationship that I'll get a message from someone, from Kathy or from John or from Laura, that ask how things are going, or that says we're going to be in your district. And I show up at these meetings and you're about solving. So to have a company that's truly interested in being part of the solution was quite a turn.
I have never in education had a sales company and a curriculum company that I share data with. They've been on site in school. They've been in our data room and, not just looking, show me, okay, what's this chart? What does this mean? Can I go in the classroom? Can I see this? We know that now it's truly been a partnership. As a school educator, it's all about, from that district level, can you build partnerships with people? And I can honestly say, yes, we have developed a strong partnership, not a purchase ship. Not we've bought something and okay, here's what you get back from us as you've bought it. But this is an extended partnership. We've had people from the State Department visit the school and they don't even get to the office. And they're like, whoa, you come in and you just feel something. You walk in a classroom and it just feels different. That to me, you can stand in a hallway and you just listen, and it's a learning environment. Everyone, everywhere. There isn't a student off task. No one's crying. No one, is outside in a hallway having a problem. It's been a culture shift. It's been a mindset difference. It's just really been now this learning culture. And once that starts, Dr. Duncan and I talk about this a lot, once that ball gets rolling, you've just kind of got to get out of the way because there's no stopping it. And so I looked at, I have it on my phone, it's a screenshot, and I look at it weekly. I make myself look at it weekly and look at what that end of year number was, because we started out and we just wanted 50% or more, and so then we got that and we had 60. And year before last we ended with 70, and we're like, that's our personal best. We don't know if we can beat that. We were scared to death to try to hit the 80s, and we hit it. And so now I look at that each week to motivate, oh my gosh, where are we going to be next year? And I look at coming off this PD week, I look at the teachers and they are empowered. They are knowledgeable and they know it. Mm-hmm. The teachers in our district, they know something, and now they know they're doing the right work. I cannot imagine where we're going to be 1 year from right now. So can't imagine it. The end of year scores, end of year benchmark, less than 20% of students were reading on grade level. We raised that bar and said on grade level is not enough. It's not going to get them anywhere for the end of year assessment. We raised the bar to 50th percentile or higher. We just finished in our benchmark first week of May. Over 80% of the students aren't on grade level. That's in the 90s. Over 80% are at the 50th percentile or higher. The students that have now had this program for 2 years, we are taking our second graders that had this in first grade and in second. Those students are entering third grade. I get chills even getting ready
I'm
to
getting a
say
chill
it.
right now, just hearing you say that.
96% of those students are at the 50th percentile or higher, and the majority of those kids are at the 75th percentile or higher. And so where we are now, in 3 years, I'm very proud to say we were able to exit focus school status in the earliest time frame that it's even possible. No one in our region has done that. And schools in the state had not done that.